Hey everyone, I'm Tunde Oyeneyin here at the Capital One Café in Los Angeles. I am so excited you're here for this very special edition of Your Purpose is Your Power. I hope that you take time today to dream of what you can achieve, because with a powerful enough dream, powerful actions will follow. Learn more about events just like these and visit a Capital One Café near you by checking out CapitalOne.com/local.
Let's give a warm welcome to Tunde Oyeneyin.
Glendale, California, how are you? It was pretty good, but I like dramatics. Glendale, California, how are you? Okay, I love it. I'm really excited to be here. People always ask me, Tunde, how did you find your way to the bike? And for those of you that have read my book, you know a lot about that story, but I always say that the bike found me. I was in a job that was draining my soul. I remember one day I was in store and I ran to the restroom, like splashed water on my face just to try to keep myself awake and my spirit alive. And I looked at myself in the mirror that day and I said, I looked at myself in that mirror that day and I had the audacity to admit to myself that I hated my job. I say audacity to admit to myself because I'd worked so hard for that job. I'd worked so hard for that title. And I found myself in this space where I said, Tunde, do you love the job or do you love the title? Do you love the job or do you love the respect they give you? At this time, I was a regional educator. I was traveling around the nation training makeup artists. I was doing exactly what I asked to do. And here I was drowning. And so I'll keep this story short because many of you read the book. I remembered that Kelly Ripa, she'd always, on her show, she was always talking about cycling classes. Again, this is like circa 2000, and I don't know, but cycling classes were not what they were. And she was telling people it's like a club. Sometimes Beyonce is there. So I find one of these spin classes that's pretty close to where I'm staying in the city. I walk down to the studio. The instructor walks in. Everybody starts screaming. I'm thinking Beyonce's walking in with this person. I didn't get the hype. Like, why would anybody be so into their fitness instructor? Thank God you guys exist. You're the reason I work. Thank you. So I'm sitting there judging them. And 3 minutes into the class, I'm in this state of euphoria. Every time I tell this story, I get chills because I'm like back there. Have you ever done something for the first time, and in that first moment, that first encounter, engagement, experience, have you ever done something and you felt so aligned in that moment? A moment where things feel so exactly right. Maybe it's almost this knowing that you've been there before, or you were supposed to connect to this place or this person. That's the feeling I had the first time I took a spin class. Like just this knowing that everything was aligned. Almost as if every moment that had passed, every moment before that moment was in purpose, because all of those many moments had to guide me and lead me into that exact minute, that exact day, in that exact class, with that exact instructor, surrounded by those people. So I unclip from the bike, the experience. I'm walking now from the cycling studio back to my hotel. My walk turns into a skip. My skip turns into a hop. Without knowing what Peloton was at the time, I'd never heard of it. Without knowing what Peloton was, I knew that not only would I be cycling for the rest of my life, not only would I be teaching this, but I'd be able to impact the lives of millions of people by virtue of a bike. I knew that the bike would be the tunnel. I was certain, completely, for the first time in my life, absolutely certain. Now, people always say, well, then, what was the experience from there? Look, I was an overweight kid growing up. I was teased, picked on, made fun of. I was one of maybe 5 black people in my school. My entire life, I looked different from everybody. And so I always stood out. So people always wanted to talk about me. That voice continued to come up for me. For me to go onto my first audition at a local cycling studio here, I remember the trauma that was. For me to audition, the trauma that was. I said to myself, Tunde, you don't move like, walk like, or talk like an instructor. The sound of your voice is annoying. You don't look like them. You'll never be like them. You are not of them. Now, it took a lot of mental coaching to get me from there to where I sit here now. Your purpose is your power. That's the title of today's event. I think, maybe better said, is your purpose is your contribution. Your purpose is the way that you are able to serve. The oldest memory that I have is, I was in kindergarten. I remember I was sitting cross-legged with the rest of the students. The teacher was on a chair. She was reading a book, maybe. I remember looking at my teacher and thinking to myself, I remember being in awe of her presence. I remember being in awe of her power. Not power over the students, but how centered and grounded she was in her purpose. I wouldn't have been able to articulate it like that then, but I was in awe of her center. It wasn't until many years later, actually whenever I had started working for Mac. When you start working for Mac, back in the day, they did what they called a 2-week basic training. Basically, they locked you in a room for 2 weeks. They had 2 trainers, and they would teach you everything from product knowledge, ingredients, how to apply the makeup with their techniques, how to sell product. I remember in that 2-week period, being so in awe of one of my trainers. Her name was Cynthia. I remember feeling like I did when I was 5 years old, watching my teacher. Now, I remember when I was in kindergarten, and I had this moment of awe, being in love with my teacher. I remember I'd gone home to my dad, and I said, Dad, I know what I want to do when I grow up. He said, what? Mind you, I had already said I wanted to be a singer, and a ballerina, and princess. I said, this time I know for sure I want to be a teacher. And he said, no, you don't. He said, you will be overworked and underpaid. Shout out to the teachers. I see y'all back there head nodding. I think the irony now is, I wish my dad was here to see this moment, God rest his soul. I think that the irony is now that I'm doing exactly that first vision, the first thought that I'd had for myself. Every single day, I instruct, I teach on the bike. I teach by virtue of my book. And in many ways, I'm teaching through the vessel of my life experience here, now, right now, in this moment. I think that when we arrive here on earth, I think that when we arrive, there's this inner compass, this thing that guides us to and gives us opportunity to align, connect to the reason that we're here, our purpose. But then life, sometimes the people we love most, in an effort to protect us, they steer away from that channel, that guide, that light, that alignment. Your purpose is that thing that you wanted to do first, or rather, better said, your purpose is who you were first before you morphed into who you are now. It's the inner knowing. For some people, they're healers. We would call that a doctor or a therapist. For some people, they're caregivers, a parent. It's like the thing that when you are connected to, the thing that when you're in it, doing it, it feels like things come easy. It's that tingly thing that you feel when you are connected to what you are supposed to be doing. I think power can be dictatorship, but power in this meaning is when you are connected to your purpose and courageous enough to move in it, to serve through your purpose. Because your power, that's the thing that only you can do. There are many great instructors at Peloton, but nobody does Cody like Cody. Nobody does Jess Sims like Jess Sims. And nobody does Tunde like Tunde. Your power is something that cannot be replicated when you are curious enough, courageous enough, willing enough to move with purpose. My thought is that if you are lucky enough to know your life's purpose, how could you dare not show up and live in that and move with that? My purpose is not to be a Peloton instructor. Don't tell my boss that. My purpose is not to be a Peloton instructor. I love my job. I love. How many times have you taken a class and I'm like looking at the camera and randomly I'm like, I love my job. I swear, y'all, there are days where I'm like, I cannot believe people pay me to do this. This is so great. I love my job. I love what I get to do. And my job is a job. Like, the monotony sucks. Like, waking up at 4 a.m. to be half naked and sweat with you, sometimes I'm not excited to do that. Trying to think of another clever playlist, sometimes I'm not excited to do that. And believe it or not, email is the biggest, like, equation of what I do. Like, there's so many emails all the time. My purpose is not to work at Peloton. My purpose is to connect and to serve you. Purpose isn't something that, I get to live my purpose through my job, but my purpose goes much deeper, runs much deeper than my job. Your purpose is fluid. That's something that continues to move and move and move with you. I talked about being like in this space in my job where I was drowning. The purpose was still the same. I trained makeup artists. I got to connect with clients. I got to connect with customers. I loved that women would sit in my chair and, maybe they walked in with their shoulders slumped or their hair in a bun wet. I loved that within an hour, I was able to gift them with confidence. In our very short amount of time together, the shoulders would come back, the hair would come down, and I would be able to see them themselves the way that I saw them when they walk through the door. My purpose is human connection. My purpose is to be a leader and a change maker. I don't think that a job gets to define that. No, when I say I was drowning because I was no longer able to serve in the way that I wanted to serve. I knew that I was supposed to serve in a different way, in a bigger way. And I'm having a moment. Perhaps it was knowing that my calling was meant for something greater that was drowning me. If you are, many people don't know what they want. Many people. And if you don't, if you're in that space, I was there too. I think, I say that I had this moment, this blue light moment where I was so certain and I saw things so clear. Before that moment, I would say a year had passed where I was filled with so much doubt. Doubt I don't think is a bad thing. Doubt, I think, when doubt enters, doubt feels heavy, which feels bad, but I don't think doubt itself is bad. I think that when doubt enters, a course correction is trying to happen. When doubt meets you, you can turn left or you can turn right. Many of us, when doubt enters, it feels heavy and we decide not to turn and we're just stuck in this limbo. That part hurts. But sometimes doubt is trying to tell you something, whether it's doubting a friendship, a relationship, a companionship, a job. When doubt enters, perhaps lean into the message that's trying to come in. I say this and I say this often, the beauty of uncertainty is infinite possibility. When you don't know what's next, you don't know what's next. So anything can be next. The beauty of uncertainty is infinite possibility. If you are in a place where you feel stuck, you are not stuck. You are not a tree. You get to move. The beauty of uncertainty is infinite possibility. When you don't know what's next, you don't know what's next. I think that when I was in that uncertain space, I thought, well, maybe I'd go back to school and become an esthetician or do something in skincare because it felt like it made sense. The second that I surrendered to the fact that I didn't know what the hell I was supposed to do, the wild idea, this wild divine download of information, this blue light moment, like I allowed that thought to enter. If I was certain that I was supposed to stay within the beauty world, this opportunity, this incredible experience that I'm in right now, this would have walked right past me. I wouldn't have even opened the door to allow it in. If you are lucky enough, if you are lucky enough to know what your purpose is, how dare you not take the chance to let it in? A big red thing just popped up that said, time is up. It's not over though, time's not up, but I think what we're gonna do now is open the discussion up to some Q&A. First person that raises his hand. Okay, so raise your hand if you have any questions.
Thank
Nice
you.
glasses.
Thank you so much. Thanks for this opportunity. Honestly, sometimes when I'm on the bike and you start talking, I'm like, thanks, Tunde, for me. But you're like really talking to millions of people, but it's very personal, so I appreciate that. In this talk, you said about doubt and feeling that that's an opportunity to really course correct. What are sources of strength for you when you want to like lean into that course correction and you want to try and do that?
What's your name?
Eileen.
Eileen with the great glasses. Eileen.
Yes.
Course correction, when I'm experiencing doubt, what are tools that help me to make the right decision? You know what? I truly believe that everything is happening for me. I believe nothing happens to me. When I don't drive really that much anymore, not that much, but like when I'm driving and I get a flat tire or the car stalls out, that did not happen to me. I did not get a flat tire. I got a flat tire, like that happened for me. I got a flat tire. Baby, some higher power stepped in and said, you do not need to be where you are going in that moment. When I am upset because my flight got canceled and I've been at the airport for 4 hours, I tell myself, after I calm myself down, keeping it real, I tell myself that happened for me. Everything is happening for me in its timing. So I say that to say when opportunity sets in, doubt sets in, conflict sets in, I remind myself that it's happening for me. And if I know that, I can see the choice a little bit more clearly. Because the first thing is like, why me? Or, oh God, why is this happening to me? And then I look at the two things in front of me. Why is this happening for me? Why is this happening? Just by changing that mindset. Work. There's two things in front of you. Why is this happening for me? If you look at everything that's presented, the different routes that you can go, and you look at each option, why is this happening for me? And you write down or you mentally list out the ways that this could work out in your favor. Next line, why is this one happening for me? List out what could possibly be a message here. Then you're able to see the pros of each outcome. Typically when we're looking at navigating between one option and the other option, we look at, okay, well, this could go wrong here. And we start weighing things against each other based on which could go less wrong. Things can go wrong in a million different ways, but when you can list out all the things that can go right for you, why is this happening for me? I think that is where your decision is. That's how you find it, for me. Who is Anna? Are you Anna? With the question? I stalked your Instagram just a moment ago. Right before I came out, like you did, I'm so excited to like go for my flight. And then you sing?
Yeah.
And you had a cute little Halloween costume. Yeah. I want y'all to know, I silently stalk y'all. Like when y'all tag me and stuff, I'm like, ooh, if he's a cute guy, I really stalk him. And then I see the girlfriend picture, I'm like, damn it. But no, I stalk y'all. I stalked you a little bit. Cute Halloween costume, Anna.
Wow.
Anna D.
Hello. Wow.
Hey, girl.
First of all, thank you so much for being here and sharing. And you kind of answered it, but I was curious. You, especially in reading your book, you have so many powers and so many spaces, whether that was like beauty and then moving to fitness in that journey. Were there questions that you found helpful or asked yourself in defining that purpose? Because I feel like it's easy to be jack of all trades, master of none, if you will. Were there questions or tools or points that allowed you to really navigate and trust moving away at the time for that beauty space into fitness and cycling?
That's a great question. Thank you, Anna.
And also lipstick. Need the lipstick from
Today I'm wearing Revlon. It's like a liquid lip from Revlon, but I put gloss over it. Thank you. I think the first step, Anna, I'm guessing that this is somewhat of something that you're going through right now. Yeah? I think the first step is like asking yourself what your purpose is, like truly sitting with self and asking yourself, you don't have to say it, but do you feel like you know what your purpose is? You do, right? Okay. When I worked in like 3 different cosmetic companies. And then before that even, I was like an assistant manager at a pizza place, serving, worked in the service world as an actual waitress rather. When I worked at a pizza place, I was an assistant manager, served people pizza. In the cosmetic world, I was serving confidence, joy, teaching makeup artists, leading them. In this world, I serve people every single day. I help them reach their goals, hopefully. Hopefully I provide levity to people. I lead them on the bike. When I'm delivering a keynote, leader, change maker, my book, it's all the same. The package is different, but the work that I'm doing, my why, it is still the same. I am wildly obsessed with giving space to people to see the best version of themselves. Maybe it's because for so long I didn't see the good in me. Like, I knew I had a good heart, the good person that I was. But for so long, I spent so many years not liking the person that I saw. And once I got a taste of confidence, once I felt that, I was like, God, everybody's got to feel this. And so now I'm obsessed with giving space for people to have to taste that, to know what it feels like. The jobs and the way that I get to do that, those always change. But if you know what you are here for, odds are when you sit down, whether it's before now or after today, you sit down and you say, oh my gosh, I'm doing in many ways the thing that I want to do. How do I connect that to like how I provide a life for myself and my family? That's the harder part, right? I don't know how long I will get to be here. None of us do. I don't know that I know fully yet what the full purpose or the meaning of life is. But when I look back on my last day, before I take my last breath, when I look at my time here, what we place value on now, will it matter? You know, Anna, you know how to move into the space that you are trying to go. It's a matter of how to disconnect, maybe from people that are around you, or a position, or maybe it's like money, maybe it's like letting go of the security. I think that's the part we all struggle with. Like, am I willing to cut back, sleep on a couch, like do whatever I need to do to move into the space that I feel most purposeful in? It's so hard to do, and I'm not even suggesting to do it. I guess what I am suggesting is that you look for opportunities that allow you to move deeper into it, and that you trust that it's happening for you, and that the decisions that you are making are your own. If you want to monetize off of it, that opportunity will come for you. But the thing that you love to do, you get to do that for free.
That is true. And a beautiful reminder. Thank you. Thank you so much, Tunde.
Thank you, Anna. You're very brave.
Hi, Tunde.
Hi.
I'm Delana.
Hi, Delana.
And first of all, I manifested meeting you this year, so this is wild.
How so?
I started Peloton, like many of us, during the pandemic, and it was really heavy for me. And I also share grief. Lost my mom 6 years ago. And your storytelling on the bike just made me feel seen. And I don't know how many times I cried on that bike with Tunde. So I was like, someday in my life, I'm gonna meet Tunde. So my question is, how have you used your grief to fuel your purpose?
That's a good question. Thank you. I manifested meeting you, honestly. I manifested meeting all of you, truth. How have I turned my grief into purpose? I am who I am because of the experience I've been through, period. I always say this, but I would do anything to get any one of them back. Like, I would give it all away. Oh, to say hi to my little brother. Oh, just to say hi. To tell him I'm sorry that his time was so short. To tell my mother, you were right. My mother saw the light in me before I recognized it in myself. And it's so unfortunate that she was trying to give me this gift, trying to give me this gift, trying to give me this gift, the gift of seeing myself the way that she saw me. It is so unfortunate that she never got to see me open the gift. To tell her, I know, you were right. For my dad, I wouldn't even say anything to my dad. I would just want to see his reaction knowing that I know that he's here. I know that they're all here and that they see this. But to see my dad's reaction, the expression on his face, that's all I'd need. Now, in saying that, my grief fuels my purpose. Like, seeing their lives cut short, one, it only affirms to me like that life is so short. That I know for certain. Seeing their life cut so short, I truly understand that whatever it is that I want to do with this time, the time is now. Like, I gotta do it now. I don't know that I would be so willing, that I would have been so willing to try to lean in to my free purpose. I don't know that I would have been willing to do that if I hadn't gone through those experiences. Like, I remember there were times where I would be in San Jose. I'd be in LA in the morning. I'd get on a plane. I'd fly to San Jose to go train makeup artists. And I would fly back to Burbank, California by 6 p.m. to teach my 7 p.m. class to make $25. That was drive. That was me living in free purpose because I knew what the paying purpose is, if you will. I knew what the greater purpose was going to be. I trusted it. I trusted it. I would do anything to get any one of them back. And in losing them, I found the greatest version of me. I would not be sitting here. The person that I am today, she would be unknown had I not gone through that. I make the choice to use that pain as fuel. I make the choice to use their loss as lesson. I show up every single day because they cannot. Period. I'm here choosing to do this, to try, because they learned, I'm here choosing to try because they ran out of time trying. Yeah. Thank you. That's it, I think. Thank you all so much for coming. I think Justin's going to wrap this out, but it would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to all of you. Like, thank you. I teach fitness classes, and you invest in me far beyond just a bike. I get to show up every day and live in purpose, on purpose, and be of purpose because you allow me that space and that freedom. I am living a life that I would have literally never have been courageous enough to ask for, because one, it was uncharted. Like, this didn't exist, one. And two, I don't know that I would have known to dream for something that I hadn't seen before. Like, to be the girl that tried out for every single sport and never made a team, to be that girl, and within the same lifetime, be the girl that straps into a bike or grabs weights, that leads other people through their fitness journey. It just to me, it doesn't make sense, not in one lifetime anyways, but it wouldn't be possible if not for each and every single one of you. So that is not lost on me, your love. And when your friends get online and say, Tunde's too much, she's too hard, and all that, and you say, I stand for Tunde, like, I see that. And I stalk your page too, and I appreciate you. Thank you all so much. I love you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Big round of applause for Tunde.